back and relax and enjoy another episode of J&C Fix and Play.
Alright guys, so for today we have another repair video, and today we are repairing a Virtual Boy. This was, a lot of people did not like this system when it first came out, but it has become highly collectible. And one of the most common problems with this system is left or right eyes may not work, or they may get funny line to them. So this one actually does not belong to me, but it does belong to a buddy of mine. And I don't know if you guys can see this, so you can see on the one eye, on the left one, you got this really glitchy screen. Can't really see much on it. However, on the right eye, it still works to a degree, and it might be hard to see there, but you can see those lines that are running across it. So we're going to try to fix those, and the most common problems has to be the ribbon cables. So kind of excited to try to take this apart. So we'll show a quick little list of tools that we are using. For starters, I just want to say that this unit is not mine. This actually belongs to another YouTuber, a friend of mine, Joe. He has an awesome retro gaming channel, so I'll post a link up in the corner. And you guys can click over there. I'm sure he's going to do an awesome review on this, and for probably for his collection as he grows this. So let's get into this. So to get into the system, we are going to need a security bit screwdriver. Now, you do have to be careful with this because of the simple fact that on the bottom here, there are some sides where you actually have to get one of these long screwdriver types to actually be able to get into the system. So if you have one of the little like ratchet ones that go on top of like a ratchet or a screwdriver, we can swap out the tips. Those are not going to fit. I found that those are too long to actually get into the two holes on the side. So you actually still won't be able to get into the system. So you do have to purchase a long one, and I'm not sure where my buddy got this one. I believe it's probably Amazon, or you can probably find them on eBay. So we're gonna have to get that. But for starters, we actually need to take out these screws here up in the corner. And then obviously all of these, which are for the mount. So let's get at it. Okay, so now once you get your screws out, and carefully take this off. Ta-da. There we are. So in order to get into the actual screens to fix, we have to get to these ribbon cables on the side. And what we're going to end up doing is sliding these out very carefully. And then we have a bunch of screws here on the side. There's only two. Let's see if we can see here. So we need to take out this little guy right here, and this little one here. And if you look closely, there is like a ground wire on this. So let's just be careful. And my buddy who did work on this, just so you know, he actually put tape on there to try to hold it down. It wasn't working at all. So he did manage to get it working somewhat. So we're gonna have to remove all this tape, and then we're gonna use the heat method to apply it. We're not gonna use an oven. We're gonna end up using a heat gun. So let's go. So we'll start on one side, and what we're gonna end up using, you could use a Phillips, but it's actually the correct one if you want, is actually a Torx screw, it looks like. So let's see if I can find the size for you guys so you know which one. So once you got your Phillips, you're just gonna go in there and very carefully unscrew the screws. And like I said, there's two. Should get that done. I am not gonna take these out just by the screwdriver because I don't want them to fall inside of here. So let's just take that one. You can see the unit just comes right out. And then up top, carefully just slide it out. Okay, there you go. So we're gonna get the heat gun and we're going to try to reattach this. Apparently it's just a glue, and that glue is what comes down undone over time. So let's set that up. So all I have here is a tray with some foil, and that's just to set the unit down in so that I can heat it up with the heat gun. And what we're trying to do, like I stated before, is we're going to try to heat this up. Now, a lot of people seem to put these in the oven at like 200 to 250 degrees, and they basically let it bake until this cable kind of goes flat. Others say like X number of minutes, whether it's 3 to 5, 6 minutes. You don't want it to be in there that long. I'm not using the oven for two reasons. One, I cook my food and there's just something about putting electronics in there, so I'm not going to do that. But number two, I'm going to try to limit how much heat actually gets on this because I want it to stay on this. Once we get the heat gun off of it, what we want to do is apply some pressure. So you can use, I've heard of people using pencils. I've seen people use screwdrivers to try to apply the pressure. I'm going to use this, and it's just a little pick I have for soldering and stuff. So I'm just going to, once we get the heat off, I'm just going to take it and apply the pressure like that for probably about 20 seconds, and then maybe put some electrical tape across this just to help secure it some more. So let's get at it and let's see. So I am using the heat gun. I am using it on the low setting. Like I said, I'm not trying to cook this. I just want to get it enough so that that glue softens up. So you kind of want to use your best judgment. You don't want to melt anything. You just want to keep it going. So we'll just keep this up until we think the glue is hot enough, and then we'll try to reattach it. Okay, so once we think that we have that hot enough, I'm going to shut that off, and then quickly take it and apply pressure. And we're just going to hold it here. And I won't lie, this is actually a little hot. Well, we're just going to do that for a little bit. Okay, I think that should be good if this actually worked. So I'm actually going to test this now before we proceed. Okay guys, so this is the right eye. And I don't know if you remember from when I first started this video, we did have lines, horizontal lines going through it. So you're actually looking pretty good on this eye. Actually impressed with that work. So now that that's working, we will move over to the left one. Oh, we went right past it. Sorry about that, guys. We'll go over to the left one, which is still not working. So moving on to the left eye, which really wasn't functioning at all. It was like hit and miss. It looks like the tape that was holding it down is just not creating a secure enough connection. So trying to remove the tape, got most of it off, but on this unit I'm having a little bit of an issue because if I try to remove this anymore, it's actually lifting up the ribbon cable. So we're gonna have to try to heat this, at least on mine, with the heat gun with this little bit of tape left on it. So it shouldn't be a problem because we're really trying to get to the glue on the ribbon cable that's underneath the tape. So I don't foresee any issues with that, but let's give it a shot. So just like on the other one, apply the heat, and we're gonna put the pressure on it to try to get that adhesive to stick. Let's see. Okay, so while I was able to fix the one side with the heat gun, actually the second one did not want to fixed like that. So now we're gonna try doing a method similar to the Game Boys. And as you can see, I have a soldering iron here, and I switched out my tip to something that's pretty much flat. It's gonna allow me to put some pressure, and it's gonna, direct the heat. So what we're gonna do very carefully is this soldering iron, I was able to set the heat temp on it, and I set the temp to 200 degrees. I don't want to put too much heat onto this because I don't want to melt the cable. So what we're going to try doing is doing direct heat and doing each section over it. So hopefully if that works, it actually probably be more permanent than what the heat gun did. But I can, at this point, the heat gun just wasn't working for the one side.
Okay, so now moving on here to the second eye. What I'm doing is I'm using an old sock, but you could basically use like a washcloth or anything you want. And I'm using that in between the iron and the actual cable. I don't want to melt the cable, and I still want that heat to be transferred. So think of it kind of like you're trying to iron a shirt. Usually you'd add the water to help with that heat. You don't want to leave the iron on a shirt or a pair of pants because it'll burn. Kind of the same idea. So all I'm doing is just putting the sock between it and tapping it to the cable, and this should be transferring enough heat. And just so you guys are aware, like I said before, the setting on this is 200, so that's what I'm using. So let's see how it works. And this, just so you guys are aware too, I actually did this about 2 times just to make sure that it works. And looking at it, it actually looks to me better than what the heat gun did. This actually looks pretty solid. And as you guys can see, both eyes are working, and to me it looks a hell of a lot better. So to put it back together, just do the steps in reverse. Make sure you attach that ground, and be sure to click that subscribe button, as I will be posting more repair videos in the future. Have a great time, everyone. Hope this helps you.